It's time for my final review of Sweden Eurovision 2025. It's KAJ singing Bara, Bada, Bastu. I'm going to watch their performance from the grand final and talk about what happened to the big favourite to win Eurovision 2025. So, let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. Okay, so you might be wondering why am I reacting to Bara, Bada, Bastu so late? I have to admit one of the main reasons is that their performance in the final was so similar to Melody Festival. I didn't know if I'd had too much to add, so I might make the reaction to their performance a little bit shorter. It depends how much I've got to talk about. But the main reason I'm doing this is that I want to talk about what happened in terms of them not winning, despite being the huge favourite. And I also want to talk about what we could see next season. So maybe a little bit more focus on the latter half of the video, but let's go through their live performance first and see what's up. I haven't seen this in a while. Okay, this is KAJ. Bara, Bada, Bastu. I'll leave as much of the original audio and visuals as I'm allowed. If I need to make changes, it'll be up onto my Patreon. Shout out to my Patreons, I love you. Wanna know my secret bang? Oh, that would have been a little bit loud. Who wrote this again? Did all three of them write it? Yeah, no, the three of them plus some other help as well. One thing we gotta note is the hot dog did get upgraded. Apparently it was, it's not a real hot dog, is it? No, it's not. It was kind of smaller Melody Festival, and they made it bigger. I think it's a wonderful start. I think it's really intriguing, very interesting. It's going to grab your attention at the start because it's got a different feel. You've got this guy saying, hey, like, welcome into the forest and into our barbecue. Oh my god, the sausage looks huge there. It's really similar to Melody Festival. I'm just trying to pick out any big difference. Keep in mind I watched the Melody Festival performance a long time ago. Like there's like small upgrades and stuff, but generally the concept is the same. That's kind of the point of Melody Festival, is that you're getting completed projects that the Swedish public can vote on, and that's one of the things I think is so good about it. Contrast that with Eurosong in Ireland where you're getting 5, 10, 15% max completion. That's my big problem with Dansk MGP as well, is that you're just not seeing the end package. So you're looking at something as a base product and you're like, okay, well, this could be upgraded. Is it going to be upgraded? Usually not with Denmark or with Ireland. So Sweden provide completed packages, and that's why it's copy and paste. It's not laziness. It's that they've already finished the work. They're the good student. It's sad that they had to get rid of one of the dancers. I think that would have been a really horrible conversation, that one of them had to be kicked out. I don't even think they would have organised that before they went into Melfest because they weren't expecting to win. I have to admit there's very little audience so far. They've created their own little word, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a strategy. Really colourful and energetic, and I'm starting to come up with like new things to say. I've already glazed this so much in the past season. It's great. There's so much details in this, from the choreography to all of the marks that they hit. It's so meticulously rehearsed, and these guys have been together, I think since 2009. They're like high school friends who've been together for so many years. And you can just see the professionalism in this. If you're going to come with the humour entry, I do think it needs to look super professional, or people are going to think that you're making fun of them or the contest. And this is just so well produced. With the LEDs, that LED kind of like rolled with the sun. I think that was a new touch. A little bit goofy there from Jakob, throwing the water on and making that face. Was this less cool than Tommy Cash? Was that one of its issues? Is that it was humor, but Tommy's humor was just cooler? Potentially. That's very Melfest to me, that image there. I don't know if that's... This is an example now, this is like coolness. I don't think Tommy would have used that image. I don't know, I can't even explain it fully, but there's a contrast here between the two. They both did very well. I'm not saying like what KAJ was bad. I'm just trying to pick like, this is the beginnings of me trying to pick out like why didn't they win when they were such heavy favourites. Maybe a little bit less like disco lights and fun. I don't know if I'm misremembering it now. It seems still kind of like we're very nature here. We had the morning, I think we've gone into sunset. I think we're going to go to night. I think that's the 3 parts of the LEDs. Other than disco, yeah, the lights there look really, really cool in the background with all the cubes. Into the tech. Oh my god, that looks amazing. Jesus. That looks so good. Oh my god, I kind of wish it went on a little bit longer. Does it? It looks so good. And again, it's that pink and blue, but they've added the green as well. It just does a small touch, but it does make it feel different. And obviously this is a small difference as well because the stage is different here than in Melfest, so they are coming forward through to the front. I can't remember how the last one ended. Did they walk forward as well, but maybe it was just a smaller walk? And it's a wonderful performance. I'm trying to pick out small details, but first of all, let me just refresh your mind about odds. Shout out to Eurovision World who do wonderful stats all season. But you can see here, it had a 50% chance to win. This is odds on, very, very likely to happen. And you see JJ there had 21%. Luan was at 8. Really, it was between the two of them. You can see 8%, 1 in 12 for France. So far back. Erica Wiekman was 1 in 20. Tommy Cash 1 in 33. So what happened to this? Okay, well, my assessment of it is, if we go back to Melody Festival, I remember at the start there was this really strong belief that they just couldn't win because Mons was there and he had a big show and it was like a big name with a big show. It's kind of a done deal. And then, because KAJ were originally bottom of the odds, they were literally last place in Melfest before the songs were released. And then they slowly started climbing. And I remember myself and a lot of other people saying like, is there a teeny tiny possibility they could win? But it was this thing that really started off as a tiny acorn and grew into an oak tree, but it took time. This was a really gradual process of, could this actually happen? And even going into Melfest, I remember there was so much hype. Their Spotify numbers were through the roof. And I remember a lot of us still couldn't believe that they could win, but then they did. It really felt like a David versus Goliath moment that they won. So I think in the Eurovision fandom, there was this huge narrative of like, wow, I can't believe that Sweden's chosen singing Swedish for the first time in decades with a humor entry. Like just, it was so groundbreaking. Like I think a lot of us just couldn't believe that Sweden would pick something like this. When it happened, it was this gigantic narrative and they shot to the top of the odds. They were already top of the odds, I think, because of Mons, but then they stayed at the top and went even farther. I think there was also a feeling in the community that there was going to be a televote winner because we had so many jury winners. We're like, okay, it's kind of time for a televote winner now. And they were the heavy televote favourite, which you can see here. 52% chance to win the televote. Tommy Cash actually beat them in the televote, so they weren't even. And then you had Israel doing their vote manipulation as well, so they were actually ended up coming third in the televote. So that's a huge stock element as well. For me, what happened was in the community, we have this like, wow, this is this crazy thing that Sweden are doing. It's so new and innovative and different for them. It's such a change of their trajectory. I just don't think the general public thinks like that. I don't think they are able to think of countries as their like personality. I think the majority of casual fans can barely remember 2, if even 3 songs from the previous year. And then I think they'll often not be able to remember which country it was either. So the concept of casual fans saying like, oh, Austria tend to send this, Sweden tend to send this. This is the argument I make as well when people say that the jury marks Sweden up because they're scared of Sweden or because it's Sweden. I genuinely don't think the jury can remember those patterns either, because they're pretty much casual fans who just happen to work in the music industry. So if you consider that casual fans don't have this narrative of this is Sweden doing something new and different and wow, it loses a lot of its luster. Like me personally, I love this song, I love this package, but a large majority portion of that is that storyline of them defeating Mons, being this total underdog, being so different for Sweden, something that we never would have expected them to send at the start of the season, being bottom of the Melfest odds. So this crazy narrative, which is this delicious storyline, totally invigorates the package for me. But as an actual song, this is probably like 20th in my play count charts. Like, I've just got way more songs this year that I actually prefer to listen to. So when you strip away the story, it's not really a winning package for me. Like, for example, if this song had been in Finland, we know that Finland can sound funny stuff before because KAJ had some humor elements to it, so did No Rules, obviously. So it would be less of like a big thing for Finland to pick this because they've done that quite a lot recently. But Sweden picking it with their kind of like prim and proper and very produced exterior and then going for something so fun and lighthearted is just such an extreme change. Public didn't have that narrative. And without that narrative, I think you just fall back more on the actual presentation on the show and the song, which is still great, but just probably not winning. And we also had the fact there that you had Israel doing their vote manipulation as well, so that's going to steal a lot of televotes away. Plus you had Tommy Cash there, who, if you look at the head-to-head, got more televote points. And Tommy Cash had a significantly worse running order, who was much, much, much earlier. Sweden had such a late running order. I think that's one of the reasons why they went so high up in the odds. It appears points-wise that Tommy Cash was considered funnier, more cool than KAJ were. But yeah, for me, this is still a victory. Like, you know, I was a little bit sad to see that some Swedes were disappointed that this didn't win. Coming fourth, third, if you take away the vote manipulation from Israel, is a wonderful result. You know, I would love to come third in Eurovision. I can only dream of that. And obviously it is disappointing when you're the heavy favorites and you don't win. I also think it's kind of good in a way though, because it shows that the odds don't always get it right. If the odds were perfectly right every single time, they would kind of spoil the show. So I like that the odds-on favorite didn't win, because it just shows the flaw in the system and the show isn't completely predictable yet. Is the show going to get more predictable as years go on? I hope not. I hope that we stay. I want this to be the maximum cap of predictions. But third place is still an absolutely fabulous result for Sweden, and this brought so much joy to so much people. Even afterwards, they've been doing concerts and I see loads of people really, really loving KAJ. So will they eventually come back for Finland? That would be really fun. Maybe give it a little bit of a break. But yeah, great to have them come back and sing and finish for them. Maybe that thing they do in Finland where you go from the sauna into the ice lake. I did that when I was in Finland. Okay, let's have a look at the points that Sweden got in the Eurovision final. First of all, let's look at the jury. 12 points from Iceland, really nice to get a jury 12. 10 from Finland, Norway and Switzerland. So you can see they're really, really strong Nordic support. It makes sense. Sauna is going to be a lot in their cultures. Sauna is a lot in Swiss culture as well, isn't it? In the mountains. Estonia, Netherlands, Denmark, Greece. So very much like old school Eurovision countries. Armenia, Australia, Belgium and Slovenia giving 6. 5 points from Austria, Ireland and Luxembourg, 4 points from Albania, Germany, 3 from Croatia, 2 from Cyprus, 1 from Lithuania and Malta. So coming 6th in the jury with 126 points. And then televote getting 12 from Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Norway. So actually pretty strong overlap between the televote and the jury there. And Iceland, all these Nordic countries are absolutely loving it. Australia loving it as well, which is why Australia is in the Nordic Scandinavian pot. Croatia, Latvia, Poland, giving 8, 7 from Czechia, Netherlands, Serbia and UK, 6 from Armenia and the rest of the world, 5 from Germany, Italy, Montenegro, Slovenia, Spain and Switzerland. So you can see as we're moving south, we're getting lower points. 4 from Austria, Belgium, Lithuania, Portugal, Ukraine, 3 from Azerbaijan, 2 from Albania, Ireland. A little bit surprised Ireland gave so low for that. Israel, Luxembourg, and then 1 from Georgia, Greece, Malta and San Marino. So it was 195 televote points, putting them third. Let's have a look at this distribution, looking at the graphics from the reorder board, and we can see Finland, Norway and Iceland all giving 22 points, Estonia giving 20, Denmark giving 19. So you can see there's really, really strong support from this from the Nordic country, which makes sense. There's cultural overlap here. They're going to get more of the jokes about the sauna and whatnot because it's just more part of their culture. After these 5 Nordic countries, we can see a little bit of a drop off. Netherlands down to 15, Switzerland 15. Let's have a look at the jury points in particular who didn't give them points. Latvia, Poland, UK, Czechia, Serbia, Spain, Italy, Montenegro, Portugal, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, Israel, Georgia. I have to admit, most of them are pretty decent. You can see there's a lot of between 11 and 17 there. There's not too many in the 20s. We only have Montenegro, San Marino are the only countries who put this in the 20s. So this was really decently ranked by a lot of people. I do think that comes down to the professionalism, how great it looked on stage, the really sharp camera cuts, the great choreography. They hit everything perfectly. It looked super professional. That's how you offset the jury. There's a lot of talk about, can a humanitarian do well with the jury? Yeah, like it does look like it's quite difficult for them to win the jury, but I definitely think that you can be top 5, 6, which is enough to win. You can win Eurovision coming top 5 or 6 in the jury. Televote wise, we can see much, much stronger televote here in the pink, getting points from everyone except for Cyprus and France. Cyprus putting this 11th and France putting it 13th. France didn't give this a single point. So France not enjoying this humor at all. If you look at all the countries that didn't give us any points, other than France, San Marino, Georgia in the east, Cyprus southeast, Malta, Israel, Azerbaijan, Ukraine, a lot of countries in the more southern part of Europe and the more eastern part of Europe. So maybe just less sauna culture, less giggles while watching this from seeing all the sauna references. I'm a little bit surprised that Ireland only gave this 7. I thought this is something that we would enjoy more. Okay, so what are we going to see from Sweden next year? I don't know if this is massively going to change things. I feel like Melfest is such an institution that they aren't so knee-jerk that they're going to see this and go, okay, we're going to just keep doing this. See some countries have some success with something and go, okay, this is our new formula. We're going to do this for the rest of the time. I'm thinking of Cyprus after Fuego, but Sweden have had so much success. I wouldn't say with a lot of huge varieties. It's a pop song usually, but they've had a lot of success with their normal style pop entries. I think that's most likely what we're going to get next year. It is nice that they sent a song in Swedish and it did come 3rd. I think that really does reassure them that they can do that. They don't have to keep the song in English. I would like to see more Swedish elements. We see people like Jon Henrik Fjällgren, who's singing Sami, but then he has Swedish in his songs as well. I would just like to see more of these languages. We know that the Eurovision viewing public doesn't have a problem if a song is not in English. We see huge success for songs qualifying and in the final as well. So yeah, I hope this gives a little bit more confidence. And I do think this will give belief to people entering Melodifestivalen that you don't need to be the biggest name. If you've got a really great song with a really great package, you can win. And that's one of the things that's going to change for me watching Melfest in the future, is that the underdog can win. It doesn't happen that often, but it is possible. And myself and a lot of people genuinely didn't think that could happen before. So I think that's one change about Melfest. But I'm not expecting to see suddenly like 10 humor entries next year. I think there's going to be a couple. We've already seen the list come out. We have Lila something. Lila, who I've been told is a humor entry with a song written by Edward af Sillén. But other than that, the lineup looks really, really standard with lots of returning artists. It does give me hope that Medina could win though, because they've got a little bit of a humor fun entry to them. Maybe they need to look at KAJ and say, okay, what did KAJ do to sell their package? Maybe Medina could take some tips and actually be victorious in Melfest next year. Okay, that's what I thought about KAJ singing Bara, Bada, Bastu and why they didn't win, and what we can see in Melfest next year. What do you think? Why do you think KAJ didn't win Eurovision 2025? Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. No new donations on PayPal or Buy Me a Coffee, but if you want to support the channel, I'll leave a QR code for you here and a link in the description. And of course, thank you to my wonderful patrons for patronizing me from all around the world, and my YouTube members. If you want lots of Eurovision stuff in the off season, go check out my Patreon. But of course, thank you so much just for being here. I'll see you in another Eurovision final review very soon. Goodbye.